Hello. I'm back. Um, so like I said, I don't even know. I'm not saying anything. My bad. My bad, you guys. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about finding purpose and I don't know, just some of the things that I've been seeing and what I've been understanding and just kind of share it. Whatever. So the other day I was watching this video and basically this um, this lady, she was sharing that she was pregnant, right? And in the video, she was explaining how for the longest before she ended up being pregnant, how she was always chasing for more. She was always trying to go after more and more and more. But what she realized in doing that was that it was just something that she couldn't fulfill. She was talking about her career. She was talking about, her family's expectations of her own personal expectations of her. And because she kept trying to go after this career that she felt was for her, and because at the end of the day, this void wasn't being filled, she fell into like a depression and she started to experience anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. And it wasn't until she found out that she was pregnant that she realized that her purpose in life was to be a mother. Her purpose in life was to be a caregiver in her home. And I don't know, like these type of stories have just kept they just keep popping up on my feed. I was watching another video. I just kind of want to shout everybody out. So that that story was from Monica Muse. Yeah. And I'm just sharing these little bits and pieces to just get y'all on the same page as where I'm at. So the second video that I watched was Dr. Jewel Pooklin, and it's titled "You Created Your Body for a Specific Person." You created your body for a specific purpose. Do you know? So I consider us to all be spiritual beings. I don't feel like we're just earthly, three-dimensional beings. And I feel like we can connect with higher versions of ourselves, our spirit guides, and our ancestors. That's my personal belief. So in this video, um, she talks about how we all came down here for a specific purpose. And obviously, life is supposed to distract us from actually going and pursuing that purpose. And in the video, she talks about how we specifically chose our bodies to do certain things. So, like, for example, when I was growing up, people said that I have really long fingers. I don't really see it, but maybe. And so they were just like, yeah, your fingers are made to play the piano because you have long fingers, right? And for me, I always I always knew that everyone had a purpose, but I also started to analyze within my own life that a lot of times we start having to move away from our purpose because it's not going to help us survive, or we don't know, it doesn't seem to fit in society. So, for example, like a lot of children, they have really, really creative imaginations, right? And as we get older, we get we start to be told that it's not okay to play with Barbie dolls anymore or action figures. It's not okay to talk to inanimated things. It's not okay to just share these weird, crazy stories that you may have came up with. And I feel like that really stops a lot of people from fulfilling their purpose because society doesn't see the importance of the imagination. I know in my personal life, um, I was raised by a military mom. My biological dad was in the military, and a lot of my mom's partners were also in the military. So they were very big on survival. They were very big on making sure that you have your funds in order, you have um, like your life is in order according to society. So a lot of people who go into the military, they don't necessarily have many passions. A lot of them are going in there because of survival, because of money, because they don't have access to education. And I'm very glad that that option was available to my family and to so many other people. But at the same time, I saw how it really took away the zest within some of my family members and how it negatively affected my life. Because as I get older, I realize that I'm into more alternative things. And that way of life doesn't support who I truly am. And so, because my parents were so heavy on making sure that you have either education or an essential job, and you know, you are able to feed yourself and clothe yourself, which are all really great things, they didn't spend enough time helping me to curate passions. And a lot of times, what we are passionate about is what our purpose is in life. So, in the video where she talks about you created your body for a specific purpose, I realized, and I know like there's a lot of controversy around, um, gender and all of that. So um, I don't really have much to say. I'm just speaking from the terms of male, female based on the genitalia that you were born with. What you choose to do with those things once you're assigned is your business. So I gave that disclaimer to go into the fact that, like, just that thought alone, like, our body, we chose the way that we wanted our bodies to be in order for us to fulfill our purpose. Like, that's crazy to me because it's like one athlete could have chose to have very, very long legs so that they can play basketball. Or another athlete might have asked for really, really thick thighs so that they can run long distance. And this is where that disclaimer I gave comes into play. A lot of women, we choose our bodies in order to experience childbirth and take care of and rear children, right? So the third video that really got my mind going on returning back to purpose is this video by Velvet Gabriela Marquez. Yeah. And it's titled Ye Are Gifted by the Most High. And the message really spoke to me because what I realize is that society always, not society always, society influences us to choose jobs or paths in order to fulfill the needs of society. It does not really support trying to find your own personal passions and finding out a way for it to be integrated in the community. Like a lot of things are already just set out and it leaves no room for imagination or innovation, in my opinion. And so because things are just so structured and it seems as though you can only be successful on maybe three different routes, and that's based off of the resources that you have access to. I just find that a lot of people they end up doing jobs where it's not their purpose. It's not their passion and they are constantly running. They're constantly trying to they're constantly trying to fill in this void when all they needed was support in developing their passions to begin with. And when I heard the video, The Most High Gifted Us, I realized that it's not society, our parents, our friends' jobs to really, it's not their responsibility to tell us what God is already telling us. You know, it's not anyone else's responsibility to ensure that you are happy. And as I continue my journey of, just living life and being, I realized that whatever text that you do study, whether it be the Bible or the Quran, or if you are just a spiritualist, the main goal, all of our purposes, is to lead a happy, righteous life. That's mainly our goal, is to literally be happy. That is our goal. That is what God is asking all of us to do. And when we keep blaming others for why we're not happy or why we haven't found our purpose, we completely give away our power and the energy and time to figure out what is our real purpose. So I guess the question is, how much time have you spent trying to find out what your purpose is rather than trying to be happy? How many times have you put off the things that you would love to do or the things that you're innately good at because you feel as though it wouldn't support a lifestyle that you want? These are the same questions that I've had to ask myself, and they're not easy at all because you realize you got to take responsibility, bro. You have to take responsibility, and it takes a lot of action steps in order to fulfill your purpose, right? But another point that I wanted to get at is that a lot of times our purpose in life is just that simple. A lot of times our purpose in life is just to be the mother. Sometimes it is just to be happy. And it's like the things that make you happy are your purpose. If it makes you happy to help other people, to talk to other people, that is your purpose. Why? Because the world needs people to acknowledge the existence of others. Like we need to communicate. If it makes you happy to take care of children, if like the main goal in your life is to have a family, that's your purpose. If it makes you really, really, really happy to draw and see the happiness that it brings other people to have this really cool piece of art, that's your purpose. Now, what I have learned is that yes, we live in a very much materialistic world. And there are certain ways, excuse me, there are certain things that we have to do. Like, there's certain ways about the world, right? And so, like, someone might be like, well, like, yeah, I love to do art, but like, my art pieces don't really sell, or art pieces take a very long time to sell. Okay, well, you got to get a little creative, babe. Like, your purpose does take a lot of work. It does. But for that type of person, I would say, all right, well, create coloring books. Try to illustrate. Try to conduct a class. Create a YouTube. So I just want to encourage people to return back to the things that make them happy because that is your purpose. And return back to those things because the world needs them and you need them to be happy, to feel fulfilled, right? To experience less anxiety or worry that you're not living to your full capacity. Return back to your purpose. Return to the things that make you happy. Because, again, the world needs them. And that's literally the only way that you are going to intentionally live in this world of freaking chaos. Seriously. And it's so crazy because it's like in my journey, the more that I have just focused on happiness, the more life I feel like I'm living. The more at ease my day becomes. And it's like the worry starts to fade away because I know that I'm doing what it is I'm to be doing, you know? Now, I was watching this TikTok and this girl, she says, I want to find it. I hate like, let me try to see if I can find it. You're way too beautiful, girl. Oh, it's probably too low vibration. I was like, ooh, don't want to be back there anymore. Okay, so basically what she said was, how do y'all like, for those of you who don't have a passion, like, how did you find your passion? Or, she was just addressing or saying like that she didn't feel like she had anything that she was passionate about, or that she wanted to do. And I remember being in that space, but reflecting on that, it was really my lack of confidence. Like, everybody knows what they truly enjoy doing because you do it. Like, you already do the thing that you're passionate about. You already do the thing that is your purpose. But actually, yeah, a lot of us, we already do it. It's just not solidified, right? So, for the people that feel like she does, like, I don't have a passion, I'm not passionate about anything. I've been in your shoes before. I literally was like, I'm not passionate about nothing. But when I was really being honest and I would start to talk about the things that I wanted to do, I'm like, yo, I want to travel, you know? I want to meet new people. And once you start to explore these different characteristics and personality traits about yourself, then that starts to steer you into like some of the areas that you might enjoy. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain with a story, okay? So basically, when I felt like I wasn't passionate about anything, I started to look at the things that I spent a lot of time on. I spent a lot of time on cooking. Like, I really enjoy eating really good. I really enjoyed being with friends and stuff. I started to think about the topics that I really enjoyed talking about and like the places that I really enjoyed going. And as I started to write a list of those things, I would just explore it a little more. Like, okay, you really like to eat really good. Do you like watching? Like, do you like cooking? You know what I'm saying? Do you like watching the cooking channels, right? Um, you enjoy hanging out with friends and discussing certain topics. Go to some of those events, right? That are discussing those topics that you want to talk about. And that's why I say, like, our purpose isn't necessarily, our purpose is literally to just live a happy life. Because as you go through these hoops and these challenges of journeys, then that's when it all just starts to make sense. You start to get presented with different opportunities and you start to see that you want to take things more seriously. And it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Like, for me, um, sometimes it's not that easy either. Because a lot of times we are so bogged down with survival that we don't even have enough time to really enjoy life or even self explore. So, another thing that I did was I used the tools that God gave us, which is astrology. And I know, like, not everybody is into astrology, but truly it is a tool that's a very, very ancient tool that helps us explore who we are. It was one that was gifted by God to help us explain and know who we are, some of the challenges that we may have. If you can really, really study astrology, you can see like major life events and things like that. And they're a lot of times on point, but we have free will. So just keep that in mind. But what I did was I started to study astrology and I started to really study my birth chart. And as I went through my birth chart, I started to see, like, oh, you know what? That puts a name on that thought that I have, or that behavior that I do, or that puts a name to why I think like that. And that self discovery really helped me to, I feel, start leading me into my purpose. I started to find out that I naturally have healing abilities. And when I reflect to my childhood, I start to see, oh, snap, I did that. And so now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. I'm gonna explore that more. That kind of works for my lifestyle. That really starts to lead into what I want to do. So, for example, something simple like finding out your life path, right? When I found my life path number, I realized, like, oh, my life path number is about family. It's about coming together. It's let me actually go. So it talks about the matters of the heart, family oriented, empathetic, extremely compassionate. Um, what else? Very nurturing. Um, likes to bring harmony into your life. Could make a good counselor, have a great understanding of the desires of other people. So once I started to explore myself in this way, I started to see, oh yeah, that is really important to me. So then I started to see, yeah, banking isn't where I should be. I don't get to exercise nurturing. I don't get to exercise being empathetic in the ways that I would like to. And then I started to look at my interests and I'm like, wow, I like to watch a lot of spiritual information, a lot of tarot readings. Um, I like to study astrology. And so once I put those two and two together, and then I explored what my natural gift was that God gave me, then it moved me into doing the things that I do now. And as I continue on this journey of just sharing and doing what I'm told instead of doing what society says that I should do or what my parents tell me I should do, this small act of returning back to purpose has really been blessing me. It really has been. And honestly, cannot wait to share more, but things are just unfolding as we speak. And I'm just here in obedience to God. So, in obedience to God and obedience to myself. So, yeah, I really wanted to just share that thought about purpose and maybe give some encouraging words on your journey. But just know that your main purpose is to be happy. And as you seek happiness, you will seek the thing, right? The thing that truly helps you be content and choose happiness every single day. So, God bless on your journey. I love you so much, Earth brothers and sisters. And I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day.